There is a place in America, unlike any other. It is a vast, shallow sheet of water, moving imperceptibly towards the sea. We call it the Everglades, the river of grass. For thousands of years, this unique wetland ecosystem has been a biodiversity hotspot, a sanctuary harboring rare endangered species found nowhere else on Earth. It is a world of delicate balance, home to ancient alligators, majestic wading birds, elusive Florida panthers, and marsh rabbits. But today, a shadow has fallen over this paradise. A silent killer is stalking the sawgrass, an apex predator that does not belong here. This is the story of the Burmese python invasion. To understand this crisis, we must first define the enemy. What exactly is an invasive species? In scientific terms, it's an organism that is not native to a specific location, introduced usually by humans, that causes significant environmental or economic harm. It's important to note that not all non-native species are villains. Many plants and animals introduced to new lands coexist peacefully. But an invasive species is different. It's an ecological bully. It damages ecosystems, spreads aggressively, and outcompetes native wildlife for resources, space, and survival. And in the Everglades, the python is the ultimate bully. Meet the Invader, the Burmese python. As the name suggests, this creature is native to the jungles and marshes of Southeast Asia, halfway across the globe. It is one of the largest snakes in the world. These massive reptiles are easily identified by their dark brown blotches fitting together like puzzle pieces. In Florida, they are growing to monstrous proportions, reaching lengths of over 20 feet, weighing up to 200 pounds. These are not just snakes. They are eating machines. As carnivores, they devour birds, mammals, and reptiles with devastating efficiency, suffocating their prey before swallowing it whole. How did a giant Asian snake end up in a Florida swamp? The answer lies in human error and natural disaster. It began with the pet trade. In the 1980s, baby pythons were imported as exotic pets. They were small and manageable, but pythons grow fast. When these snakes grew dangerously large and expensive to feed, irresponsible owners released them illegally into the wild. Then came the tipping point, Hurricane Andrew. In 1992, this Category 5 storm destroyed a python breeding facility, releasing hundreds of snakes into the wild at once. This event likely established the breeding population we battle today. The pythons didn't just survive, they thrived. Why? Because Florida is practically a mirror image of their home. Florida's hot, humid climate perfectly matches the tropical environment of Southeast Asia. The vast swamps provide ideal hiding spots and limitless water sources. But there is a crucial difference. In Asia, tigers and king cobras keep python numbers in check. Here, there are no natural predators to stop them. Aside from massive alligators, nothing in the Everglades poses a threat to an adult python. They are kings of a castle that wasn't built for them. This invasion has caused a fundamental disruption of the food web. Pythons function as new apex predators. They sit at the very top of the food chain, consuming almost any moving creature they encounter. This creates a direct conflict. They compete directly with native predators like bobcats and the endangered Florida panther for food. As the pythons eat their way through the swamp, there is less prey for the native hunters. The ecosystem is being starved from the top down. The statistics are terrifying. We call this the mammal decline crisis. Since the python's arrival, mammal populations in the southern Everglades have crashed catastrophically. Raccoons, once ubiquitous, have seen their numbers drop by 99.3%. Opossum populations have crashed by 98.9%. Bobcat numbers are down by 87.5% in python-dominated zones. And the marsh rabbits? They are effectively extinct in some areas. The forest, once noisy with life, is falling silent. The destruction isn't limited to the ground. There is a severe impact on bird populations. Pythons are excellent climbers and swimmers. They prey on wading birds like herons and egrets, consuming both adults and eggs with alarming frequency. This predation pressure is a nightmare for conservationists. Endangered species like the wood stork face a new threat of extinction. Losing these birds disrupts the entire ecosystem. Without them, seed dispersal and insect control mechanisms begin to fail. In the water, a battle of titans is raging. This is the python versus alligator battle. The American alligator, the native king of the swamp, now faces a challenger. These territorial conflicts are brutal. While a large alligator can eat a small python, the reverse is also true. Large pythons can consume medium-sized alligators. In some horrific cases found by researchers, pythons have tried to eat alligators so large that the snake literally bursts open, killing both animals. It is a war of attrition where both sides lose. Why can't we just catch them all? Because of the rapid reproduction crisis. Pythons are reproductive machines. A single female python lays between 50 to 100 eggs annually. Unlike many reptiles, she guards her nest vigilantly, ensuring exceptionally high survival rates for her young. Compare this to native species like deer or panthers, which reproduce far slower. The math is simple and frightening. Python populations grow faster than the ecosystem can possibly handle. Finding them is the next problem. Pythons have a cryptic camouflage advantage. Their patterns blend perfectly with the sawgrass and shadows of the swamp. They are masters of stealth. Even trained hunters can walk directly past a hidden snake without seeing it. Because they are so hard to spot, scientists struggle to even count them. Estimates suggest tens of thousands exist, but accurate counting proves impossible due to their masterful camouflage. We are fighting an enemy we can barely see. This ecological disaster carries a heavy economic cost. Millions in tax dollars are spent annually on removal programs and research. There are tourism losses to consider. People come to the Everglades to see wildlife, but as the animals vanish, so do the visitors. Furthermore, as pythons spread, there are growing threats to pets and livestock in residential areas near the Everglades, creating additional economic burdens and safety fears for residents. Over the years, we have tried many solutions. Most have been failed solutions. Conventional traps prove ineffective because pythons prefer live prey. They rarely enter baited traps designed for capture. We tried using python-sniffing dogs, and while they work, the dogs suffer in the extreme Florida heat and humidity. Biocontrol, introducing a virus or predator to kill the snakes, is too risky, as it risks harming native snake species unacceptably. One of the most visible responses is the Python Challenge. This is a current solution where Florida hosts annual hunting competitions. The state encourages public participation in snake capture and removal efforts. Prizes are awarded for the most snakes caught and the longest specimens. While this raises awareness and removes hundreds of snakes, scientists admit it barely impacts the total population. It is a bucket of water against a tidal wave. Science is getting smarter. We are now using new technology, sentinel snakes. Researchers capture male pythons and implant tracking devices inside them. These are dubbed Judas snakes. They release them back into the wild during mating season. The males, driven by biology, lead researchers directly to large, breeding females hidden deep in the swamp. Scientists then capture the females and destroy their egg clutches effectively. It is a strategy of using the snake's own biology against them. You might ask, can native species adapt? The answer is complex. There is limited evidence suggesting that some native animals are becoming more cautious around python-inhabited areas. However, evolution works on a timescale of millennia. Evolution requires thousands of years to develop new defenses. The python invasion is progressing far too rapidly for natural adaptation to save the Everglades wildlife. They simply don't have enough time. Ultimately, this is not a snake problem. It is a people problem. This is a lesson in human responsibility. This entire ecological crisis was caused entirely by humans through the exotic pet trade and irresponsible ownership. The message is clear. Don't let it loose. We must rehome unwanted pets responsibly and never dump animals into wild ecosystems. The price of that freedom is the destruction of an entire habitat. The nightmare may not be confined to the Everglades. We must look at the future outlook. Total python eradication is now considered virtually impossible. The population is too large and too hidden. Management now focuses on containment. But there is a new threat: climate change. As the climate warms, it may enable pythons to spread northward into Georgia and beyond Florida's current boundaries, threatening ecosystems across the American South. So what is the plan? We are settling into a long war. Solving this crisis requires a multi-pronged approach. It means combining rigorous scientific research to find weaknesses, supporting active hunting programs to keep numbers down, and investing in comprehensive public education efforts to prevent the next invasion. We are fighting to save what remains. In summary, the Burmese python invasion is a cautionary tale. These destructive invasive predators have decimated Florida mammal populations by up to 99%. They have silenced the forests and emptied the marshes. But the fight is not over. By understanding the science of invasion and the importance of responsibility, we fight to protect the river of grass. The Everglades is resilient, but it needs our help to survive the age of the python.